Hey guys, welcome back to About Time Games. Today, I wanted to go to one of my favorite gaming magazines from back in the day. Yes, I do love Nintendo Power, but I also loved EGM, which some of you younger may not know that Electronic Gaming Monthly was the choice of most gamers. The comedic letters section, particularly, is always a good read through. So I thought that it'd be nice to see what people were writing in about and the way that the editors responded to the April 2003 issue of EGM. This is right around when they reviewed Wind Waker Zelda on GameCube. So, without further ado, let's get started here. So, the title of this one, In EGM You Trust. And this is by Dan Shu-Su, which was the editor-in-chief of EGM. We're an opinionated bunch. We can't help it. Our magazine was founded on the principles of tell it like it is gaming journalism. So, we're going to speak our minds. This no BS attitude isn't without its drawbacks. Naturally, it means some of you will agree with what we say, some won't. It also means some of you will accuse us of being biased. A few of you have even claimed we cater to advertisers. We can deal with these remarks. It comes with the territory. If we played it safe all the time, we wouldn't get any hate mail. And we'd have nothing to read at night before we go to sleep. Plus, we get a kick out of hearing we're anti/pro PlayStation 2, anti/pro GameCube, and anti/pro Xbox simultaneously. Still, I'd like to use this space to explain our editorial philosophy. Please read this handy FAQ. Question: Is EGM biased? Answer: yes, toward good games. Question: Do the editors prefer some genres or game systems over others? Answer: yes, but this doesn't affect our objectivity. It's important that we review all games equally and fairly, but we're human, just like we assume you are. So we have different ideas as to what's good or bad. That's why we use a 3-reviewer system, so you get a more diverse and better sampling of opinions. Hey man, I agree. Question: What if a game company threatens to pull advertising over low-scoring reviews? Answer: If they threaten to pull ads, and they have, we tell them to go right ahead. At our magazine, nothing is allowed to influence a reviewer. No matter what a game company says or threatens to do, our editorial voice is independent, firm, and uncompromising. Holy smokes! Bring EGM back! EGM 2024! Question: Have the review crew members taken bribes in exchange for better review scores? Answer: We've made as much side money as you have IQ points, apparently. I tell you these things so you know you can completely trust what we write in the pages of this magazine. You may not agree with us all the time, but you can sleep easy knowing we're honest and fair. We know reader faith is something we have to earn, and it's something we can never put a price tag on. That's our opinion, anyway. All right, and these are the letters to the editors. Now, I may have to change a few of the words here, as I don't want to, even though there are quotes of what the readers write, I don't want to say, I'm not going to go into some of these. So this is the letter of the month, and this earned the writer a copy of Wind Waker. Jeez, man, come on, talk about it. This is titled Fanboys Equal Te Suck. It was good seeing EGM talk about and poke fun at fanboys in EGM 163, the breed of gamer that sometimes crosses the line to insanity. I can't count the number of times I've seen a normal message board user voice his honest opinion, only to be flamed and humiliated by these fanboys and their strange ways. I was recently on Gamers.com. Is that still around, side note? And the user Xbox Terminator wrote in, Xbox Terminator, come with me if you want to live. That was my addition, wrote in a user review for Splinter Cell, and I quote, "The graphics look seriously outdated. The Xbox just can't keep up with PS2 and GameCube in graphic performance." And he finishes up his review with a nice big art of someone giving a certain finger in big capital letters, "Go somewhere, Xbox person." That was my paraphrasing. Maybe I missed the psychology class in high school where they discuss people's attachment to objects. But I really can't understand this fanboy thing. My Xbox, PS2, PS1, and Super Nintendo sit together in a nice little area of my bedroom. And once a little more money rolls in, the GameCube will be there too. The only way I can see justifying fanboyism is if insert game system here had an electrical short, burned down your house, and you lost your cat in the inferno. Obviously, you're going to dislike said game system for emotional and psychological reasons. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to play my Super Nintendo 'cause it rules! So, do these fanboy wars still rage on in 2024? We will never overcome these obstacles, gamers. Okay, the next letter is called Gangsta Gates. A few weeks ago, I was getting ready to play a few hours of sweet, delicious Halo. Man, bring that back. Out of curiosity, I decided instead to check out the music library on my Xbox. To my surprise, there was already a file there, even though no one has ever put any tracks on it since we bought it. The file was called Killer Cuts, which sounds like the CD from Killer Instinct, Killer Cuts, for Super Nintendo. Not the same, or something like that, and it had about 20 tracks of pretty obscene rap on it. Unless my 11-year-old brother has a taste for gangsta rap, these tracks were already on the Xbox when we got it. Has this happened to anyone else? Answer: So, let's get this straight. You don't suspect your little brother. Although the idea of Bill Gates loving the Ghetto Boys, dang it feels good to be a gangsta, so much he puts on every Xbox, does have a certain appeal. Next we've got When Animals Annoy. In Animal Crossing, how many stuck-up tightwads can move into one town? Almost everyone in my town is cranky all the time. Answer: Our advice: spend some personal time with Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror on repeat and get back to us. Next one's called Review Crew Glows Global. Each month you print a number of reviews for games that appear on multiple platforms. Would you please explain how it is determined which platform a particular title will be reviewed on? What I mean is, do you pick the console that best showcases what the game can do? Do you support the older companies who you have been working with longer? Answer: Review editor Shane Bettenhausen steps up to the mic, taps it, and asks, "Is this thing on?" Well, with multi-platform titles, we generally review the first version we can get our hands on due to time constraints. If we get more than one version at once, which is rare, we look at which platform's review section is a little sparse that month and slot it in there. Other times, we just do what makes sense. For example, the Tony Hawk series came up on PlayStation, and that's where most of its fans are. So, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 gets reviewed for PS2. Actually, we'd really like to cover every multi-platform release for each console, and it looks like we will begin doing just that very soon. Massive life-enriching changes are afoot in the review section. Look out! Next, we've got Lack of Ninja Sweetness. BMX Triple X, Grand Theft Auto, blah, blah, blah. We all know that these games have been under the spotlight of some overprotective parents, but what about the worst offender of them all? Ninja Assault. The game is just amazingly offensive. Make all the jokes you want about ninjas totally flipping out and killing pirates, that won't ruin their total sweetness. But give them guns and they become nothing more than guys in black pajamas wanting to shoot someone. Seriously, you can't even cut a building in half with a pistol. You can't even make a cool swing sound when you draw your gun. Answer, tell it. Next, we've got Metaphysical Question. Who do you think would win in a face-off? Metroid Samus or Star Wars Jango Fett? Are they both not bounty hunters? Do they both not kick butt? Let me know where you people in the office stand on this important question. Well, Pedro, we really haven't spent much time thinking about it, what with work, life, and fingernails to clip. But we'll go with Samus. Yes, Samus would win, and anyone who thinks differently doesn't know the first thing about hypothetical mano-a-mano death matches between characters from different licensed fantasy worlds. Of course, if we're talking Boba Fett, that might be a different story. Next, we've got Elderly Gaming Monthly. Hate it. I just received EGM 163 and finished reading Dan Su's editorial. I agree with some of it as, yes, video games have grown up more and more, but the thing is, you guys run a magazine where some parents have younger kids, and they let them read it. What's wrong with having the idea of writing and organizing content for everyone? Just because the average gamer is 28 means all of a sudden you have to write for 28-year-old gamers? I sure don't think so. What about a kid who likes video games and looks to EGM for information? Why not have content wholesome enough for that person? It's not like 28-year-olds have this craving for cuss words in a magazine. So, EGM, why not write for everyone? You have to think of people from young to old. When was the last time you read highlights? Hey, come on, man, I like highlights. Find all the objects. It's just not possible to make a magazine that an adult and a 7-year-old would both love. Although some of our competitors are still trying. As Shu mentioned, our sister magazine, Game Now, I don't know if I ever saw that one, Game Now, caters to the younger set, and we're for the oldsters. With their walkers, receding hairlines, and occasional blue language, it's better that way. We're better that way. Someone's rebuttal is, like it. Hey, Shu, I read your little editorial in EGM 163, and you know what? I totally agree with you. I'm 31 and have a subscription to EGM. My 10-year-old stepson also reads the magazine. When EGM 162 came out, just like every other month, I read the magazine from cover to cover and decided he didn't need to read the 9 naughtiest games feature. So I just clipped it out of the magazine, nice and simple. I don't get some people. There are all kinds of games in my house. Some are games my stepson can play and some he can't. I take the time to figure it out first. It really isn't that hard. Okay, so we've got both viewpoints here. Kano loses. Okay, guys, I've got a complaint. It's about your Mortal Kombat Advance review. That game is the greatest piece of gaming goodness ever. I mean, I spend more of my time playing it than anything else. I can't find a single fault. As soon as I saw it in the store, I knew it was the game to rule my life. I've spent some of my best time on the John Switch playing MKA. What's wrong with you guys? Oh, we see through your clever ruse, Ian, pretending to like a terrible game just so we'll print your letter and insult you? We won't fall for it. but we will refer you to page 104 for more on MKA. Retro Gams. Hey, whatever happened to that girl with the nice legs on the front of California Games for NES? After appearing in David Lee Roth's California Girls video and then on the box of Epic's California Games, leg model Jenny Sweet Gams McKilligoldy suffered a career-ending shin bruise in a horrific grocery cart collision and then moved to Tampa. Fewer Nazis, please. I'm having some philosophical problems with World War II first-person shooters. Uh-oh. Two games that are really getting under my skin right now are Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Blood Rain. First, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Super Nazis and Zombies? Super Nazis? What in the world? Did Activision employees even go to school? That's so stupid. And Zombies? Zombies? Next, we've got Blood Rain, a vampire killing regular, non-super Nazis. Great. Why in the world is a vampire killing Nazis? That just sounds dumb. And then there's the Medal of Honor series. Can someone please tell me why plucky Jimmy Patterson is fighting the war all by himself? There were 600,000 soldiers at Bastogne, and somehow one man does almost all the fighting? Little help? Hey, you're just lucky Rain isn't a Nazi-killing vampire ninja robot from Dimension X. Then we've got some smaller snips here called Question of the Moment. Which recent game do you think is a sleeper hit or got more hype than it deserved? Most hyped game in a while? Metal Gear Solid 2. How dare you! Colonel, this is Snake. Can you hear me? I couldn't figure out if it was a bad movie I played or a bad game I watched. How dare you, Corey Welter? I think Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus was a sleeper. What a great game. I mean, it doesn't stack up to games like Metroid Prime or Super Mario Sunshine, but Sly Cooper was a good chunk of fun. I believe that Grand Theft Auto Vice City was more hyped than any other game ever. I don't know how this one game can get so much hype even after its release when there are plenty of other games out there that are at least as good. Wild Arms 3 was an underappreciated game. I would have missed out on an excellent RPG if a friend hadn't clued me in. The Getaway got way too much hype. It's got good graphics and a good storyline, but the gameplay is clunky and annoying. Most important, it's not fun. Definitely Eternal Darkness, one of the greatest cube games nobody bought. Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball got more hype than it deserved. I like certain things and all, but I can only take so much. The game is okay, but only for the hypnotic, yeah. Super Mario Sunshine is an overhyped, boring kids game. Uh-oh. With a name that got higher ratings than it deserved. All you do is shoot water on goo to collect shines. Woohoo! So exciting. I traded it for a used Rogue Leader game. Man, harsh. I do remember people saying that Nintendo was for kids, but are they still saying that now? Are they? Checkmate. Okay, so that was the letters section, and I'm going to go through real quick. Maybe there's some games in here you guys like, love, don't like, maybe never played, want to play. So we're going to go through the charts, and this is for December 2002. First list we're going to hit is the top 20 best-selling games. So, number 1, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, PS2. Dragon Ball Z Budokai, PS2. Madden, NFL 2003, PS2. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Xbox. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, PS2. Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Game Boy Advance. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Eternal Duelist Soul, Game Boy Advance. James Bond 007 Nightfire, PS2. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, PS2. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, PS2. Kingdom Hearts, PS2. ATV Off-Road Fury 2, PS2. WWE SmackDown, shut your mouth, PS2. Metroid Prime, GameCube, man, finally a GameCube game. Come on. Metroid Fusion, Game Boy Advance, Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets, Game Boy Advance, Gran Turismo 3, A-Spec, PS2, SOCOM, US Navy SEALs, PS2, NBA Live 2003, PS2, and rounding out those 20, Super Mario Advance 3, Game Boy Advance. Next, this is cool. We've got the top 10 rentals from Blockbuster. Number 1. You guessed it. Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, PS2, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, PS2, James Bond 007 Nightfire, PS2, WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, PS2, Dead to Rights, PS2, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, PS2, Madden NFL 2003, PS2, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, PS2, Conflict Desert Storm, PS2, and number 10, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, PS2. And the last list we've got here is the top 10 best-selling games in Japan. Number 1, Pokemon Ruby Sapphire, Game Boy Advance, Ratchet & Clank, PS2, Kingdom Hearts Final Remix, PS2, Winning 11-6, PS2, Momotaro Densetsu 11, PS2, Mega Man Battle Network 3, Game Boy Advance, Unlimited Saga, PS2, Zelda, The Wind Waker, GameCube, Mario Party 4, GameCube. Number 10, Tales of Destiny 2, PS2. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the letters and the top charts from EGM April 2003. Thank you. The way I used to go through video game magazines when I got them was I looked through everything first, and then I'd come back and I'd read through everything. So I tried to get my $5 worth out of these things. You know, I love these things so much. So thank you again. Now get out there. You listen to enough about games. Get out there and play some games, would ya? I mean, it's about time. And don't forget to remember,